I'm saying hello today on a beautiful July 4th, 2013 from Port Perry, Ontario, a lovely little country town just about an hour east of Toronto. And I'm here with Paul Arculus, who is an absolutely well-known local expert on history. As a matter of fact, you're the president of the Historical Society.
That's right,
here.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And we're on the waterfront of Port Perry with an actual icon of Port Perry right behind you.
Yes.
The famous Woodman.
Woodman.
And tell me a little bit about this boat and some of the waterfront and steamship history of this town.
Yes, well, I'll refer you first of all, that if we swing around to the side here, we can have a look at the plaque that the town has erected on the steamboats that used to ply the lake. Now, as we can see here, I don't know if you can zero in on that, that was the original Woodman, built in 1851. And as its name implies, it was built to pull log booms down to the Port Perry waterfront, where we had five lumber mills, steam-powered lumber mills here on the waterfront that milled the lumber and then shipped it down to Whitby, and from there it went literally all over the lake and primarily to Upper New York State. A lot of the homes in Oswego in that area were built out of the lumber from the Lake Scugog Basin. So the Woodman then, 1851, and it was functioning here as a virtually as a tugboat, but also carrying goods and passengers around the lake up to Lindsay. Until about 1875, when the lumber market collapsed on the New York Stock Exchange. So that kind of brought an end to a lot of the lumber, but also the lumber in the Lake Scugog Basin by then had been largely depleted. Now that takes us to the present Woodman that we have. This was built about 8 years ago by Betty Penny and her husband, and they decided they wanted to renew the idea of steamboating on the lake, although it's not a steam-powered vessel. It's a diesel, a very comfortable and very pleasant ride. So they organize rides here on the lake. Now, regarding the lake is not a totally natural lake. Because what happened in 1827 up at Lindsay to the north, the lake flows north through the Scugog River up to the town of Lindsay. And in 1827, a fellow by the name of Purdy built a dam there, which backed the water up to create the lake that we see today. So the lake you see today is roughly about twice the size of the original lake. And I should add that Lake Scugog in the language of the original inhabitants, that is the Mississaugas of Scugog, in the Mississauga language, Scugog means muddy, shallow water. So it's not the best for swimming.
It's not the best for swimming. And this vehicle, as we look at it, this orange boat or whatever it is.
Yes, he's a weed harvester.
A weed harvester.
Weed harvester. And we have to resort to this now to get rid of some of the weeds because of the changing climate that we have. We get an abundance. You can see them in the edge of the water here, the weeds here. And we have to keep the channel. There is a channel. It's marked. Once you get out just beyond the boats here, you can see a channel marked for boats, and we have to keep that clear for boats for the public and so on. So that's why they're clearing that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your introduction to the waterfront of Port Perry.
Right. My pleasure.
Thank you.